Hello folks, this is Sula speaking. Welcome to another video for Teamfight Tactics. This is a game that's taken from one of my ranked games. You probably could have guessed that just from the borders that you're seeing here. This is a game that's being played with me at Gold 1, and what we're going to be looking at in this game is win streaking for fun and profit. That is looking at trying to extend an early game win streak, and then of course trying to transition out of an early game team comp into something that's more late game focused. So this is the starting screen. We're going to go ahead and get started here on the initial carousel. It looks like for this particular round we're going to have a cloud map. I actually haven't really played all that differently depending on the cloud hexes recently. So anyway, I go for the Syndra. Unfortunately, I missed the Syndra. That would have been a pretty ideal starting item for me. It would have been Syndra with a needlessly large rod. I tend to default towards the mage-based compositions, Ocean Mage. I've had the most success with that, so that's typically what I go towards. But with that said, this is a pretty good starting setup. I'm going to get LeBlanc here, along with a Giant's Belt. And if I am able to find a needlessly large rod, that could be a Morellonomicon, which is a great item for a mage comp. I could also look to get a Negatron Cloak, and then this could be a Zephyr, which is also a very nice early game. Well, not even necessarily a good item early game, just kind of a good item throughout the entire game. I really like Zephyr as an item, really useful if you're scouting the other teams. You can take out an enemy carry, that sort of thing. So let's go ahead and look at this early game. I already mentioned that I was going to be focusing on win streaking, so you probably can guess that I'm going to end up finding some stuff that's pretty decent here. Let me take you through my thought process here right now. I'm looking at what I get on the initial setup, and I want to get that Ivern. I have a LeBlanc, so if I can find two more Woodland Druid champs, that would be either Ivern, Maokai, or Nico, I will be able to run Woodland Druid, which is really strong for the early game. So I grab the Ivern, and then I also grab Renekton because there are two Renektons sitting right there. Renekton does not scale very well, but he is a very good champ for the early game. So far I have not done great as far as items though. None of these items don't really build towards anything that I'm looking for. And then here I find Renekton, 2-star, and then I find another LeBlanc, and then I find 2 out of 3 Talias. I've actually got yet another Renekton, but I don't need 4 Renektons. So I buy all of them up, and the only bad thing about this is I haven't gotten any gold yet. So I actually spend all the way down to 0, which is fine for a minion round, but in terms of economy, I'm not looking great because I actually have had to spend a fair amount of money on champions. I have spent, let's see, 3 on Renekton. I've spent 2 more on Talias. There I go. I get some gold there. Unfortunately, it is the minimum possible gold drop. It's only 2 gold. But yeah, I've had to spend a fair amount. And then look here. There's yet another Renekton. There's another Ivern. And I'm not going to get the extra Renekton, but I do make Talia 2-star. So now I've got 2-star Renekton. I have 2-star Talia. I have 2 out of 3 Iverns. And I have 2 out of 3 LeBlancs. So this is pretty good as far as getting champions go. So I'm going to take this time to look and do a quick scout on the other teams. Nobody's really made all that much yet, which isn't surprising here. We're just coming out of the first minion round. So I'm still hoping to play Woodland Druid, but for right now I'm just going to play... I have 2-star champions, and they are good. Always good to have 2-star champs if you can. The only other thing that was kind of important there is I did find the needlessly large rod off of that last minion round, and so that does allow me to make Morellos, which is a big deal. That's going to allow me to get a healing debuff on anyone on the other team. Again, it will be really useful against Woodland Druid team comps. I'm happy to keep the item on LeBlanc because I will probably sell the LeBlanc later on. She is a decent, if not great, target to put a Morellos on. She gets a lot better if you can get up to 3 mages, and then she has a chance to double cast her chain and apply Morellos to 2 people. So it's not ideal. It would be better to have the Morellos on the Renekton, honestly. But I don't want to sell that LeBlanc because I'm really close to being able to get Woodland Druid in here. So I on this particular round, I am able to make Ivern 2-star, and I'm also able to find a Nico. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to look to level early to level 4. That allows me to put in another champ, and I'm going to put in the Nico and the Ivern so I can get Woodland Druid in play. Renekton will be able to stand up in the front lines and tank for me, and this should be a very strong setup. I even have a 2-star champion on my bench. I've got the 2-star Talia, who I just can't get into the game right now. I will put her in at level 2, but there's just nothing I can do right now. I can't get her into the game. Now, there is a cost to all this. Because I spent aggressively, I have only 1 gold right now, and that's really bad. Like, in terms of economy, this is terrible. I really put myself behind economically by buying all these champions, and I've spent a lot of money on champions, and by leveling aggressively up to leveling aggressively up to 4 so quickly. Arguably, I should have held off another round to do that. So what I need to do is I need to make up for this gold I've spent by being so greedy by win streaking, and that is the mechanic whereby you get more gold if you win a bunch of rounds in a row, or if you lose a bunch of rounds in a row. And here I'm presented with another difficult choice. I get double Vhagar, and I'm like, oh geez, I really want to play a mage comp here. Could I just buy the double Vhagar? And I was like, oh, I really want to do that, but if I do that, I drop all the way down to 2 gold. I can't drop down to 2 gold. I need to start building up money in my pocket, so I have to pass on that. There's just nothing I can do. I've already spent 3 gold on Renekton, 3 gold on Ivern, 3 gold on Talia, that's 9, and then 6 more in the form of the LeBlanc, the Thresh, and the Nico. So what is that? That's 15 gold in champs I've spent. Plus I've leveled, so that's another 4 gold. So like I've spent 19 gold already. That is a ton of gold to be spending this early in the game. So the good news is my team comp is really strong. Like I'm in a very strong position here. And in fact, I'm actually going to sell the Thresh because it allows me to get up to 10 gold. Didn't want to do that. I wanted the Thresh. He is going to be in this comp eventually. I'm hoping to play Ocean Mage, and he's one of the key champs for that. But I have to sell him. I have to get that economy. I have to get over 10 gold. Now, I realize after doing that it's a carousel round, and I could have just sold whatever champ I get here on the carousel, and that would have taken me over 10 gold. So that actually was needless to do because I had forgotten there was a carousel coming up. So that's pretty bad. I should have held on to the Thresh and just sold whatever carousel unit I've gotten. Now, the downside to win streaking, of course, is you are one of the last ones to pick off of carousel, and all the stuff I've wanted is basically gone at this point. I can make... I have my choice between all items I don't really want. I can take the, I can take the Negatron Cloak, I could take the Chain Vest, or I could take, what was the last item there? I think it was another Giant's Belt, so none of that's really useful, and in fact, if there is something that's been bad, the items I've been getting in this game have not been especially great. So I'm going to make do with what I can. I do want to use some of these items. I'm going to go ahead and put the Bramble Vest on Renekton. This will make him tankier. It's not a great item, but I'm looking to play some kind of mage-based comp, so I don't really need those Chain Vests very much. I'm not going to try to hold out. Yeah, you see me hover the Vhagar there. I really want that Vhagar, but like I could have had Vhagar 2-star already, which is just kind of sad. Like if I'd known that was going to happen, I probably would have sold the Talia and gone for the Vhagar 2-star, because Vhagar 2-star this early in the game would be super duper powerful, but just cannot afford to spend all that money. Just can't do it. It's too expensive. I have to get some passive gold income coming in, or else I'm going to be put too far behind in the rest of this game. So the good news is, like I said, I am winning these rounds. My overall comp is quite strong. Like, if I weren't leveling up aggressively, I would not be winning these rounds. So fortunately I win, and I have to keep winning here. I have to keep the win streak going. And I'm really debating, do I purchase the Nico? It'll take me below 20 gold, and alright, fine, I'll do that. So I go ahead and do that, which is probably a mistake. I probably should stay over 20 gold here, keep that passive income coming in. Boy, this game can make you take tough decisions in like the worst way. So I'm going to go ahead, now I'll pick up the Thresh here. Now I'm going to pick up the Vlad. And again, I'm building towards an eventual Ocean Mages, and I want to keep the win streak going. I saw that if I spent the 4 gold to level, I'd still be at 20. So I go ahead and do that. I was not sure if I would win this round. I really should be scouting the other comps. So here I'm going to do that. I want to look to see, like, am I strong enough to beat these other teams? Because I really need to keep this win streak going in order to make up for all of the money I've spent on champs and for leveling aggressively. Like, look at the opponent I'm up against here, Jack Off. He already has 30 gold in the bank, whereas I have 20. And I believe after this round, he sells something on his bench to get up to 40. Maybe that's another round. I'm remembering this from memory. So he is also running a pretty strong early game setup here with Woodland Druid. And I don't know if I win this if I don't level. Maybe? I guess so. I guess it was a fairly one-sided match. So I end up doing quite a bit of damage to him. No, he stayed at 30 gold. So I guess I wasn't that far behind him. And now there's another Thresh, and here, sad days. If I had not sold the earlier Thresh, I'd have Thresh 2-star right now, which would be very nice to have. But anyway, you get the idea. So I have been spending a lot of money, I've been leveling aggressively, I've been buying champs aggressively, but I've been making up for it by win streaking, now on a 5-match win streak. And this has put me in very good shape. Well, if I had about 10 more gold, I'd say I'd be in really good shape. I'd say I'm in decent shape. It would help if I could get some better items. The only item I've gotten that's been kind of good so far has been the Marillanomicon. Other than that, my items really have not been ideal for the comp I'm trying to run. Like, not a lot of mage-based stuff. What I really need is gold, so I'm very happily going to sell that Skarner, which takes me to 30 gold. That was badly needed to get over the 30 gold income threshold there. But I do have that passive income from the win streak going. You get, it's plus 2 gold extra for being on a 5-match win streak. You get up to 3 gold extra when you get up to the 7-match win streak. So I'm going to, again, look to reposition here. Just pretty basic stuff, putting my champs in the back lines on these cloud hexes. Renekton's up in front to try to soak up damage. He's very good at doing that in the early game. And the Bramble Vest will make him a bit tankier. He is very reliant on his ultimate. Renekton needs to get his ult off. If he does not get his ult off, he will die very quickly because being a Berserker and not a Warden, he doesn't have a lot in the way of defensive stats. He does not get bonus armor or anything like that. He is not inherently all that tanky. So like I said, he really needs to get his ult off and in order to lifesteal off of that. Fortunately, we get a really nice shove from Talia there on the Yorick. So that buys Renekton time to get his ult off. Like, if you can see, I've got a lot of people low right now. This is actually a very close round, but we just barely managed to cut through that enemy team in time. And look at how low the health is on everyone on my team. A little bit bad focus firing on the enemy team. Not that Rift Volunteer can control that. And by the way, note that he's already up to 50 gold in the bank. So yeah, he's in, I mean, so here's the thing. He's at 60 health, I'm at 100 health. I would much prefer to be in my situation and be down like 15 gold as opposed to being at 60 health. So I'm going to go ahead and level here. I'm going to look to, once again, level aggressively. I want to keep this win streak alive. And I was going to put in Vlad there, but then I saw that Vhagar was there. I was like, wait a minute, Vlad is not going to make Ocean 2. I actually don't have any Ocean in play at all. I could just buy Vhagar. It's not going to cut into my income and have him be my third mage. And he'll be just a stronger choice. There I go ahead and hover the win streaking there. So I'm up against PNH Peter T. This is one of the other strongest comps in the game right now. So the big thing that I need to be careful of is that Diana. That's his scariest unit down there in the corner. So that's going to take out Nico, but fortunately I'm doing a good job of killing the rest of his team. That Druid health regen is keeping everybody topped off. Ivern, I got double Iverns there, which is the best unit to get cloned. The LeBlanc and the Nico are only 1-star units, so it's nice to get the cloned Ivern and get the 2-star extra unit. Very, very nice. I don't know if I win that round if I get a clone of the Nico or a clone of the LeBlanc, but I do win. 7-match winning streak, so that's delivered, let's see, after winning 7 in a row, I've probably gotten about 15 extra gold if you count the interest that's come from that win streak as opposed to like winning and losing and alternating. And of course I'm still at max health, so that's really good. Here I'm looking at some of these other comps right here and trying to figure out who I'm going to be up against. That Windman, who I don't know if I've hit that comp recently, and indeed I am up against this comp. I thought that I might be, but there wasn't a whole lot I could do in terms of positioning. I thought I might be up against, so watch the Renekton here. Renekton, gets taken out just before he can get his ult off, and that's really bad. I needed Renekton to get his ult off. That would have made him tankier. Also, in terms of the unit that got cloned, I did not get the cloned Ivern, and yeah, I'm not going to win this round. You can see the poor focus firing on my setup. But Happy Windman was running a similar setup to me. He was also running a Woodland Druid, but he also had Lunar in place. And he also just had much better items. Like, I don't really have very good items. So I do lose that round, and that's really unfortunate because the win streak ends. But his comp was just legitimately stronger than mine was right there. So not much I can say. Here I'm looking for what item I want to pick up. Again, I'm going to be one of the last 2 to pick, so I'm not going to have much of a choice on what I get here. We're just going to see what's left over. I would have probably taken the Annie, but the Annie's gone. So out of these choices, the clear one to grab is the Olaf. He's worth 4 gold as opposed to the 1 or 2 gold on those other champs. And he'll also make a useful item. I can take the Negatron Cloak I just picked up, combine it with the Giant's Belt, and that's going to make a Zephyr, which I'm going to put into play right away. So again, these items really have not been all that great. And there I accidentally leveled twice. I meant to level once. Whoops. Sorry about that. So I want to put the Zephyr on a unit that isn't all that important, one that I can move around, and I decide I'll put it on the LeBlanc. She's going to be sold eventually, and this will give her a little bit more maneuverability. So I want to just make sure I'm hitting a key unit on the enemy team with that Zephyr,
And I was looking here to see which one of these two cloud hexes would be a better one to put her on, and I decided that putting her on the left one was probably a little bit better. It turns out that that's not the case for this round against Luffy, because I would have gotten his Vayne, but it's hard to know. You don't know who you're going to be up against. Also, by the way, watch Renekton here, and oh, Renekton gets the ult off, and that is the key moment. Also, we get the LeBlanc diving into the backlines to CC the Vayne, puts that chain on her, and then Veigar cleans up at the end there. So we actually win that round very easily. And unfortunately, I'm left 1 gold short of 50 because I stupidly leveled twice instead of leveling once. Well, that was dumb. And I didn't want to sell anything off my bench to get up to 50. You could make the case I should have sold Vlad, but Vlad's pretty integral to the comp I'm trying to run. I also picked up Nautilus back there. I've got the Nautiluses and the Threshes, and then I get a huge hit right there. Huge hit. Double, I hit the 2-star LeBlanc, and I hit the 2-star Nico. And at that point, I was like, all right, well, guess we can run this comp a little longer, because the question was, do I like start rolling? Like, do I want to start rolling here to try to find something? This is not going to be my final team comp. If I had not hit that, I probably would have started rolling. I want to find brands. Like, you can see Rift Volunteers going for brand. He already has one with the Guardian Angel. But by hitting the 2-star LeBlanc and the 2-star Nico, I get much, much, much stronger. Now it means whatever unit gets cloned via Woodland is going to be a 2-star champ. And here, I have my Zephyr positioned correctly. I take out that Vayne on the enemy team, who is the carry on that squad. Unfortunately, the chain hits the Malphite, who is like almost dead, but we've pretty much managed to kill the whole enemy team by the time that Vayne appears. So Vayne's doing her best job. She kills 2 units, but again, by the time she comes down, match is already over, and I'm going to go ahead and win that one. So, like I said, this is a good example of a game where I'm not really getting ideal items for the comp I'm trying to play. Like, I'm trying to play Ocean Mage. These are not good items for Ocean Mage. Like, they're just not good items for this setup. But I'm making do with what I've gotten. I've got the Morellos. I've actually gotten pretty good use out of the Bramble Vest on Renekton, just because otherwise he would have died much faster. Like, he probably would have died before he got his ult off in some of these fights, but that gives him a lot of extra armor and just has allowed him to get his ult off in most of these fights. And then the Zephyr has been really useful. So the big question now is, when do I want to transition out of this comp? I'm going to go ahead and find a Nico's help there. And I was kind of hoping that I would get, if I was going to get the golden drop, I was kind of hoping for the spatula, because that would have allowed me to make a mage cap, but I don't get it. And now I'm going to look to roll a little bit. I'm going to be somewhat aggressive in doing this. So I find the Thresh 2-star, didn't find anything there. There's a brand, so we'll get rid of the Veigar for right now, put brand in. And here, I'm just going to roll a little bit further, trying to find something else. I don't actually find all that much here, so time to sell some of these units, and we'll go ahead and play this. I probably should have swapped some of these units in. I did swap the brand in. So now the big question becomes, how much longer do we run on Woodland Druid? All of these Woodland Druid units are low-cost units, and oh, Renekton, get your ult off! Yes, he does just barely get that ult off. That would have been much worse if he did not. The other team's got that Taric, and it's got that Vayne, obviously going into a Ranger comp here. But the good news is even Brand 1-star does do a lot of damage if he gets his ult off, and fortunately he did. Yeah, actually I guess Brand didn't do that much damage. Renekton did the most because he got off a good ult. So I am thinking at this point, let's see how I do on a couple of these rounds. It looks like I'm okay, so I am going to go ahead and make that change. Because that'll allow me to get Ocean 2 in. Did end up dropping the Renekton, and so we'll go ahead and swap the Bramble Vest over to one of my tanky champions. I think I put it on Nautilus, because he's the one who's frontlining. Thresh is not great to be right in the front line. And then I'm thinking about what else to put these items on, and I was like, could put Hand of Justice in. I want to get up to Ocean 4, but I'm not going to do that just yet. What I'm thinking is, let's run on this for right now, and then at level 8, I'll take out the 3 woodland champs, and then I will put in the 3 champs on my bench: the Nami, the Vlad, and the Syndra. This will give me more time to find additional Vlad and Syndras, maybe find some more brands. Right here, we just need that Kindred to die, and fortunately Brand looks like he was able to get that with his bouncing ultimate. So even though I feel like what I have isn't great, it's certainly not going to be good enough to win against late game comps. It's still winning for right now, and in fact I've won... Let's see, I had a 7-match winning streak, now a 4-match winning streak. And there's another big hit. I get double Nautilus. So I am high rolling a bit in this game. I'm not going to try to pretend otherwise. I've definitely been pretty lucky in a lot of these regards. But I also did want to point out that I'm making use of what I've got. And I'm just going to dump the Chain Vest on Nautilus. So he's now very strong against physical damage. He's got like 300 armor or something crazy like that. It'll be even higher if we can get up to the Warden 4 bonus. So like I said, I've been pretty fortunate in this game, but I'm happy to run off of what I've got right now, and then, like I said, drop Woodland Druid at the next level up. There I get another good Zephyr, and look to go into a more standard late game Ocean Mage setup. So like I said, win streaking for fun and profit. I did end up winning most of the... I mean, I've only lost one round in the game so far, but unfortunately Brand is not going to get off his second ult there. So even though I've got more champions alive, I actually have no damage at this point. And unfortunately, we're not able to kill Mauls before he gets his cast off. Like here, there's just no damage on my setup here. So yeah, Mauls is going to get more of his little Voidlings off. And oh, we come up just a little bit short. I can't remember if we had triggered the Guardian Angel and Malzahar. So my win streak is finally ended there. 7-match win streak, 1 loss, 4-match win streak. It's a shame I lost the 1 round, because otherwise that would have been a, what, like a 12-match win streak, and that would have been worth a ridiculous amount of money. But I can't complain. I'm in good shape. Very well positioned to get top 4 this match. What I'm looking for right now is some kind of mage item. I would love to get that. Yeah, I'd love to get that Nocturne, but of course it's not there. So I'm just going to look to do the best with what I've got here left over. I want to take the Janna, but she's gone too. I was like, well, all right, we'll take this. I don't really have a great item to grab, so I'll just grab the what is it? The name's escaping me. The Negatron Cloak. So right here, as soon as I see this, I'm like, all right, I'm just going to go ahead and use the Nico's help on Brand, get him up to Brand 2-star. That was probably a little premature to do. As it turns out, I'm actually going to have no trouble finding more Brands in this matchup. And then I'm going to go ahead, and I believe I make Hand of Justice on Brand here. Probably should have considered a different item than the Negatron Cloak, but there really wasn't a lot of options there. I think the only other option was another Chain Vest, which I don't think would have been that useful to make double Bramble Vest. Oh well. But yeah, I am able to get up to Brand 2-star, which is a big relief. I probably should have waited to roll down, and if I didn't find Brand, then use the Nico's help on him. But I've got the Brand 2-star. He's got Hand of Justice, which is a nice Brand item. I'm hoping he can get off a second cast here, which he does. And now we just need to kill the Brand on the other team, who's got that Guardian Angel. And we just barely managed to... Look how low everybody is on my team. Like, if that Brand gets off another cast, that could be pretty ugly. So yeah, there's the other Brand, and I was like, that was unfortunate. I could have very easily not spent that. So that was too aggressive. I was not on a win streak. Like, if I had still been on a win streak, that would have been much more defensible, but I had just lost a round, so there really was no need to burn the Nico's help right there, especially considering that I literally found what I was looking for on, like, the very next round. But, like I said, I was trying to make sure I would get top 4 in this game, and I'm actually going to move the LeBlanc here because I saw that some of the carries were positioning right in between the two hexes. Unfortunately, that turns to be a mistake because I would have gotten that Azir on the enemy team, who's kind of the carry for that squad, and that would have been better, but oh well. Like I said, you don't know who you're going to be up against. If Brand can stay alive, we still have a chance to win this. I just needed to get another ult off, but he's a little bit slow. Oh, so close. So close. Needed one more bounce to hit. So that's unfortunate. Like I said, if I had not moved the LeBlanc, I would have 100% won that round. So that's pretty unfortunate there. But I did it to myself, so can't complain. Also, I overlevel once again because I apparently can't do simple math. So certainly a lot of mistakes in this game, things that could have been improved upon. There is also the case that I could have held off on making Hand of Justice on Brand. I could have waited to see if I would get a spatula from this round because the ideal setup is to go into 6 mages. Like if I could go into 6 mages, that would make this a stronger comp. And sure enough, what do I find? Yeah, there's the spatula. So it's like, why couldn't I have gotten the spatula first and then gotten the Nico's help second? So that's a little disappointing. But in any case, I'm going to go ahead and put in all these units on my bench. And I actually forget that I have another slot right here. So yeah, I could have made something. Here I'm just looking for stuff. I was like, oh cool, Cloud Lux. Well, we'll put Cloud Lux in. That's pretty good. And I actually don't need Vlad in this comp. Also, look at all the Brands I'm finding. It's like, yeah, now I get 10,000 Brands, of course. Also note the Janna's there. So this is something that I didn't notice until after the match was over. I'm going to go ahead and look to play the Brand here. But I noticed when I watched this video afterwards that there were a ton of Jannas that I could have picked up, and I have grabbed the Cloud Lux, so I easily could have looked to play Janna here. Now this round went very poorly. It's a really nice Taracle by the other team, but part of the problem is this is a team that, this is just a matchup that I don't do very well against. This is a Poison Crystal team comp that doesn't go very well. So like I actually ended up with Master Yi in here, and I was like, oh, Master Yi, well hey, he makes Mystic along with Nami. That's pretty good. I'll look to play that. But that was actually a mistake. I should have played the Janna instead, because I didn't have items for Master Yi, and what I needed was not damage from Master Yi. Like, Brand is doing plenty of damage on his own. What I actually needed was more protection for Brand, and I could have gotten that if I had picked up the Janna, who would have also made Cloud. It would have made Cloud 3, which I think is like 25% dodge chance or something crazy like that. Here you see me using the two Megatron Cloaks. And by the way, here my Brand is going to get Zephyred out. We actually had the exact same thing. We both had Talias with Zephyrs. We both took out each other's Brands. But to get that back to that point, it would have been better. Like, the Master Yi is not really doing much for me. A Master Yi with no items is not really that useful. Janna, for the protection that she provides to Brand, would have been more useful, and she would have provided the Mystic buff, and she also would have provided a huge bonus in dodge chance. Like, well, I guess not that huge, from like 20% to 25%, and I'd already be up to Janna 2-star as well. Like, there's already been 3 Jannas here, so as soon as I got the Cloud Lux, I should have been looking to grab additional Cloud champions, because Cloud is really good, and especially because a lot of these other teams were running auto-attack based comps. Like, there's quite a few Ranger comps here that I'm still competing with. So Master Yi is not a terrible choice, but he is not ideal. Janna would have been a better choice. And in addition, I've made another mistake here. Note the spatula just sitting there doing nothing. Well, I could take that spatula and stick it on Nautilus. And spatula, I've got an extra chain vest. Well, spatula plus chain vest, that is, what is it? The item that makes wardens. I can't recall the exact name off the top of my head. And it's like, well, would having an extra warden in be helpful? It's like, well, yeah, actually. That means that at level 9, I'd be able to put in another warden and get the Warden 4 bonus instead of the Warden 2. So this round is super close, but that Vayne is still alive, and there's a narrow loss. So I think that, like, if I had made slightly better decisions, a couple of these rounds that I very narrowly lost could have been wins instead. I'm still in great shape. If you can see, I've just made top 4 here, and that's the goal. You get to see the gold borders here. But I'm trying to highlight that there were a lot of things I could have done better here. So here we have the another carousel round, and fortunately there's a really good item that's coming straight towards me, and that's the Death Cap for Brand. Really couldn't be much more ideal. You could make a case for the Archangel staff, but I've already got a tier item on Brand in the form of Hand of Justice. Gives him the 20 mana off the tier to start. And I've also got Ocean 4, so Brand casts plenty fast enough right now. What I really want on him is I want Death Cap. I'm going to have to move him off the Cloud Hex to do that, but yeah, so this is almost perfect items. I think that perfect items are Death Cap, Morello's, and Seraph's Embrace, but this is almost perfect. And you can make a case that if he rolls the bonus 50% damage on Hand of Justice, like the life on hit is basically pointless for Brand, but if he rolls the plus 50% damage and double casts, he just does absurd damage. It is unfortunate at this point I did not save the tier to make a mage cap and then go into 6 mages, because Brand with these items and the 6 mage buff would just be absolutely absurd. Oh, look at that Kha'Zix dancing around with the Seraphs on him. But the good thing news is he can't dodge the bouncing Brand ult, so he dies to that. Actually probably spent a little too much time dancing around, and so we're able to win that round. Win that one pretty easily. And it really is down to just 4 of us here, so I'm hoping that I can get a top finish. Also, I managed to make Vhagar 2-star, so I'm going to go ahead and put Vhagar in the team comp. I just saw the Talia. She's not really doing anything. I don't have a Malphite to make the mountain buff, and Vhagar does way more damage than Talia. Like, she's not bad or anything, but is more useful. And I also can move Vhagar around with that, what's it called, the Zephyr. I probably should not have put the Zephyr on Vhagar, though, just because you kind of want to put it on one of your least valuable units. I probably should have put it on the Syndra, because she doesn't really matter that much. I'd rather have Vhagar in the corner casting. So here I managed not to hit anything. I would have much preferred to hit either the Ashe or hit the Twitch. I'm up against this person. I'm up against Jack Off again. Like, this is another, like, if I win this match, he gets eliminated from the game, but this is just a terrible matchup for me. He's got Poison plus Crystal. It is just about the worst matchup possible for the Ocean Mage that I'm running. And, like, even though Lux is doing her best, it's just not enough. Like, Brand gets poisoned, he's slow to get his ult off. The good news is someone else just got eliminated, so we're down to just the top 3 here. But unfortunately, this item's not going to be very helpful for me. This is a sword breaker, so I'm like, I guess I'll put it on Master Yi, but it's not really good on anyone. It's one of the worst items in the game right now. I guess it's okay on, like, Sivir, but that's about it. So yeah, I'm actually not concerned about Happy Windman. I think I beat his comp pretty easily. So what I'm concerned about is Jackoff's comp. It is a hard counter to me, so I'm really hoping that someone else can knock him out of the game. Alternately, it would have been really nice if he had been eliminated, like, earlier and not survived on literally 1 single hit point, but Teamfight Tactics is like that sometimes. But, like I said, I've been trying to highlight some of the places where I think I could have improved. So anyway, I'm looking to find stuff, and this is nice. I'm like, all right, well, I'll buy the double Amumu's. We'll just put a Mumu in here. And here's where I really wish, in retrospect, I had gone ahead and looked to, play the, there's Yi 2-star, so at least that helps. But I really wish that I had taken the spatula, put it on Nautilus, gotten the Warden's Mail, and then put the Warden maybe on someone else, probably would put it on Master Yi, and that would get me to 4 Wardens, which would be a huge buff in armor, particularly for Nautilus. It would make him almost unkillable, but at least a physical damage. So here I've got a matchup with Happy Windman, and I was like, oh cool, well this is great. I easily beat this guy. Like, just tearing him a new one here. I got a pretty good Zephyr off at the start, and yeah, so we're gonna win that. And I was like, oh great, cool, we do a lot of damage. It's like, wait, no, it's a ghost round. I was like, are you kidding me? Ghost round? Nah. Also, you can see here, if I had held onto that Nico's health, like there's a spatula that I do not see to use. If I had saved my Nico's help, I could have had the Cloud Lux here, the 2-star Cloud Lux, and that would have been really good, because 2-star Lux is just so good. Oh well. So anyway, like I said, a lot of things that could be improved upon here. This spatula is just going to sit here unused for the entire game. So here, I'm going to look to try to move Vagar. I actually thought I was going to be up against Jackoff here. It turns out I'm still up against Happy Windman, and I am going to get a really good Zephyr. So when I see that Zephyr going off, I'm like, well, this is going to be good. And Amumu got off a great ult too, but the problem is Brand gets hit by Malphite, so his initial ult is slow to go off, and then he gets hit by Malphite again, like a 1/10 of a second before his ult would go off, and that is the result. Brand is delayed in getting his ult off twice, and that's enough for him to win the fight. So talk about a pain in the butt here. I win the round very easily when it's a ghost round, and then when it's the actual round, I end up losing. So that's just such a pain. I don't get to deal any damage to him. So instead of him taking like 15 damage, he ends up not taking any damage, and I just lose health and get nothing for winning the ghost round. So now I know I'm going to be up against Jackoff, and I want to Zephyr out one of his key units. I decided I wanted to Zephyr out his his Taric. I thought that was the key unit to get out, because the Taric ult has been really key in these fights. So you see, I am in fact going to get that Taric out of the fight. Taric 2-star, really strong. But again, the problem is this means that I'm not going to get off a Vagar ult, and unfortunately Malphite once again hits Brand right before his ult goes off, and so Brand is significantly delayed. I lose the round, and oh, are you kidding me? Oh, I had 20 health and took 21 damage. I was like, are you kidding me? So a pretty unlucky sequence of events in there. I did make a lot of mistakes. I've been trying to highlight them in these games, but Brand kept getting ulted by Malphite. Both of these other players have Malphites. They both hit Brand again and again and again right before he could ult. And like I said, that comp is a hard counter. I probably can't beat Jackoff's comp, but all I have to do is kill one more unit and I don't die there. He had like 2 different units that were on like 10% health. So yeah, if all I have to do is win that round, then I'm almost certainly going to come in 2nd place, but unlucky, unfortunate with that ghost round, unfortunate with Malphite repeatedly ulting into Brand, could have easily hit another target, too many mistakes in terms of itemization, and not picking up the champs I could have picked up. I do wonder what this would have looked like if I had played the Janna instead. So we've just got one more round here. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious who's going to win between these rounds. Jackoff has won, I think, 7 consecutive rounds at this point on 1 health. Also, by the way, if Jackoff goes out of this game, I win the round. I top the lobby easily, because he is literally the only comp I couldn't beat. But he win streaked at 1 health, and that's going to be enough. So I was like, alright, well, it was still a good game, but unfortunately not quite enough to pull this one out. Yeah, I don't win every game. But I was hoping that I'd get promoted to Platinum, and
Are you kidding me? 99 LP, gold 1. I was like, what? 99 LP? Oh my goodness. So yeah, I missed getting promoted up to platinum by that margin, by the other dude surviving and winning 7 rounds in a row on 1 health. Sometimes this game hates you. But the good news is I played another game right after this and I came in 4th and I did get promoted to platinum. So hooray, did get promoted to plat 4. Anyway. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching this. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Like I said, I did want to highlight win streaking in the early game, transitioning to another comp in the mid game, and then the reasons why I messed up and didn't get first place in this game. So hope you learned something, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, have a great week. See you guys soon. Until then, take care.